Whoa! Look at that!
This is a big fish.
Oh my God!
We got to get everything ready here.
While a friend and I prepare for some fall deep rigging for walleyes on a Minnesota lake, here's a question for you. Out of all the tools we use in the process of finding and catching fish, which is the most important single one? Like all fishing gear, over the years this piece of equipment has advanced leagues beyond its predecessors at accomplishing the most important of all tasks in fishing. Without one or two on your boat, it's literally like going fishing blind. That's right, modern sonar. Electronic units that provide the angler mind-boggling information which allows them to hunt fish ultra-precisely. I mean, you're not going to catch anything where there are no fish found, right? So that's what we're going to be demonstrating today with the true expert in the fishing electronics field.
It's amazing after being in the marine electronics business now for 30 years what's available for consumers in these new Garmin units. And these units offer features and functions as never even imaginable back when we first started fishing over 30 years ago.
When I first got a sonar unit in the mid-60s, I thought it died and went to heaven.
The early flashers.
Oh, yes.
A flashing light on a
But these things are computers.
Disc. Yep, today they offer, navigation equipment, high definition sonar, full color, high definition mapping, and it's just amazing what's available to the consumer at prices that people can afford.
Yes.
It's unbelievable the cartography that Garmin has in these units. The inland maps, there's 17,000 lakes, 6,700 of them are high definition, which means 1 foot contours shoreline to shoreline, and that is preloaded. It comes right from the factory at no extra cost to the consumer. For 2016, we're going to go from 6,700 high definition lakes to 13,000 high definition lakes. And another amazing feature, when you and I grew up, we didn't have computers. Well, a lot of the electronics on the market today are so confusing, the average consumer has a hard time trying to use it. So if you have these units that are so sophisticated that you got to be an engineer to be able to run it, it just drives the guy crazy.
Yes.
But these Garmin units are absolutely unbelievably easy. If you want sonar, just touch the one that says sonar. If you want to bring your chart up, or just touch it, and it's going to give you a picture of the chart and where you are. In this particular lake, there we are right there. This map was preloaded. Here's 3 sunken islands right here. Right there's our boat, and as we move, you'll see your plot trail right on the screen. It makes everybody a navigator. I mean, you can save so much time just by looking at this chart that's built in. We could save hours of hunting.
Right here, deeper water comes right up to the edge of the sunken island, closer than it does any place else around there.
Exactly.
So you come to a spot like this you've never been to before, and you already know, hey, this probably is a higher percentage spot or a first spot to start looking here.
Exactly.
To try and figure out what the fish are doing.
That's for sure. And that's when you can switch over to your sonar then. Go back to home. We're going to go to sonar, traditional. Now we can look and see if there is fish down there, and there is a fish right there. A big fish. These units are so sophisticated, it's just amazing. Don't go out and fish the spot you fished yesterday because they were biting there yesterday. Look for these fish, find the productive spots, and start catching them.
Big fat largemouth.
Largemouth.
Oh, you dog, you. So why would a person use down view opposed to traditional sonar?
That's a great question, babe. For years, we all had traditional sonar. Every manufacturer, we all had traditional sonar. But just a few years ago, down view and side view became available, which gives you a picture quality image of what's down there. So with traditional sonar, you'll see the bottom, you'll see like weeds and stuff just sticking up in straight lines, but sometimes it could be structure, it could be weeds, or you're really not sure. But with down view, it's going to give you that picture quality image to where if it's a weed bed, you'll see the weeds extending up off the bottom as plain as they took a picture of it.
So what they're thinking is bottom is actually a weed bed.
The tops of the weed beds, right. And it's just like taking a picture of it. It's so clear. The downside of down view is it doesn't show the fish as well. So that's why you want to have both. So you can have one screen can have traditional, one screen can have down view, so you'll be able to distinguish between structure and individual fish so much clearer. It's a phenomenal new feature that has really helped the fishermen.
What does it feel like?
Feels heavy,
That's good.
it's shaking. And holy cow. Babe, you said it was a walleye. You weren't kidding. He started running with it. Oh boy. Get him head first. Got him. That's a nice fat one too.
Mm-hmm.
We marked him.
Okay, we're on to traditional sonar. Can you put it to the split zoom for a second?
Okay.
Now, can you get one side so you can zoom it in and out?
Yes, you can zoom one side and have a full screen on the other. Right there we have a 9-foot zoom window from the bottom up 9 feet.
That's exactly the feature I was looking for. If you're fishing deep water and those fish are tight to the bottom on the full screen, it's hard to see them real well.
Right.
But if you could have the full screen so you know where you're at, and then be able to zoom that bottom feature in so it shows you that walleye laying flat on the bottom, that's an advantage. Continuing now, as we put my new Garmin to the test and demonstrate all the things it can do, we move to another lake to check in on the whereabouts of crappies. Look at this.
There they are.
Now we haven't,
Wow.
right, I mean, that is a major group of fish right here. That's right on that break,
Yep.
and those are crappies. Okay, so I got split zoom down. Now can you show me how we take this unit and change the sensitivity so you know you're seeing the fish?
Now remember, on the Garmin unit, sensitivity is called gain. So hit gain. There you go. It's
That's
up
up to
100%, or you
100%.
can move it up and down. And sensitivity on a sonar unit is extremely important when you're looking for individual fish. Remember, the good way to remember that is the sensitivity or gain on a sonar unit is like the volume on a radio. If the volume's too low, you don't hear anything. If it's too high, you get so much noise you can't stand it. On a fish finder, if the sensitivity is too low, it'll pick up enough echoes to show the bottom, but it won't show the fish, like you just showed right there. So you want the sensitivity as high as you can get it without saturating the whole screen with noise. Whoa, babe.
Oh boy.
Good one. Holy cow.
He'll eat.
Sure as heck will make a sandwich. Whoop, I'm on. Just went over that big school of them and bingo, hit. Well, that's a better
all right.
one. That's all right. Oh my gosh, the screen's just covered with them.
Tell me about the chirp feature that's in these units. How does
Okay.
it work and why is it important?
Chirp isn't something that's new. It's been around for years, but it's been so expensive. Chirp transducer a couple years ago for a small one was over $1,000 just for the transducer.
Okay, but why should a fisherman today, a freshwater fisherman, consider chirp?
Chirp stands for compressed high intensity radiated pulse, which for an engineer means a lot, but for the consumer, the average fisherman, what chirp does, instead of like traditional sonar that we've been used to all these years that pinged one single frequency, like 50 kilohertz, chirp goes through a whole range of frequencies, say from 80 to 155. And what that does, it gives you less interference, a lot less interference, better target separation, so separate those individual fish from each other and from the bottom with less interference. It's a great new feature now that it's affordable. We're still sitting over a huge school of them.
It's amazing how many crappies are out here.
It's unbelievable.
The lake has got walleyes and bass and crappies and pike and bluegills and other things in it. And we found a school of crappies in deep water. Right now I'm at 41 feet. And we're just throwing little 8-ounce jigs down to them. And put a minnow
There's
hook
one.
on the back.
I got another one.
You got another one? There you go. Oh, that looks better.
Boy, they're down there deep though. Holy cow.
See, I moved just a little bit, and I got us on a different school of fish, and they're thumping.
That's all right. Nice crappies. Holy cow.
So what other features are built into this thing that a fisherman needs to know that are going to help him on his hunt for fish?
These units are designed by engineers that have all kinds of features that they build into these units. And I tell consumers, pick out the few features that you're going to use and forget the rest of them. Remember, these units are designed to use in freshwater or saltwater, big lakes and small lakes. So there's a lot of features that you use for each given area, but you're not going to use them all. So pick out the few you're going to use and
For the
forget
kind
the
of
rest.
fishing that
For the
you
kind
do.
of fishing you're going to do. Better one?
Little better.
Oh yeah.
That's why I wanted to get back on this group up here. They seemed like they were a little bigger than the other ones.
Yep. Another crappie. Another flying crappie.
The wind's blowing it so hard I can't even catch up to it.
I got one.
Good. Let's hope it's a big one.
Whoa, boy, this wind isn't doing us any favors, I'll tell you that. We got flying crappies here. Oh, I'm on. Man, these fish are hitting so light.
Well, I mean, we got a nice mess of crappie.
Hell, I've had a blast, man. Holy cow.
I've had a blast too. As you've seen, a Garmin is indeed the angler's eyes beneath the water's surface. Every single time I go fishing, it and I are a team working together at a lake to narrow down just where the fish are. Like last summer, on a lake near my home, where I went out searching for largemouth bass along the weed line. You know, if you don't like the weather in Minnesota, just wait a day or two and it'll change. Finally stopped raining, blowing, and everything else, so we're gonna go out and see if we can teach you a lesson on bass fishing. I need a little bass fix here. We're blessed in the Brainerd area, and I'm fishing by home, but I haven't been out in this lake bass fishing once yet this year. There's so many lakes in the community. There's like 464 lakes or something like that in the Brainerd community. And this one is a good one. So we're gonna kind of be going by feel. I'm gonna put on a little heavier jigs. This one I'm gonna go with a 1/4 ounce jig. We're gonna try and swim it down that outside edge of the weeds and let it fall slowly and be able to work still down to 20-25 feet, which you can with this. But while I'm moving in position, I'm gonna use the Garmin here to see what is out on this outside edge. Because the first thing we've got to do is find an area that's holding the fish. And then the second thing we've got to do is find the fish within that area, like this. Here's a couple of fish right on the barely outside edge of the weed line. Well, let's see what happens. This is finesse fishing at its ultimate. Now you might ask, well, why would I start with the finesse bait system? Because I suspect that because of the weather that we've had, they may not be in a good bite. We're willing to chase big baits, etc. And it's possible that's where they're at too, but try and second guess them as best you can. I do know this, if you start with a passive bait, if they're in an aggressive mood, you'll get bit, and if they're in a passive mood, you should still catch some fish. If you start with a very aggressive bait and the fish are just in a passive mood, you can oftentimes fish by them all and not get bit. And I don't want that to happen. There we go. There we go. And you notice I've just drifting along, just so slowly. I'm at about 18, 19 feet. I'm off of the break, so this guy come way out on the outside edge. Not a big bass, but an adult. That one hit it so light, if I wouldn't have had a really sensitive rod on, I'd probably never have even known it. Starts to let go of the secrets of what we've got to do today. Now if I hook a good one, I'll take my Garmin and just mark it, so I can get exactly back to that spot. Because sometimes what you find is a little group or a big group real tight to one area. Well, this is fun. See how big you are, mister. Not very. But one piece after another in this cold front condition. I didn't expect that they'd be on a great bite. And they're not, but at the same time, we're catching fish. I mean, you're always, every day you're facing, okay, what's happening today? What kind of a mood are they in? What kind of stuff are they in? How are they doing it? Etc. And you don't know. I mean, you just keep working and you let the fish fill in the questions. Everybody asks, how long do you fish a spot? Well, you fish it until you try and cover it fast, looking for a reaction from the fish. If you get the reaction, then you slow down and you narrow it in. If you don't get a reaction, you just keep on moving. Now, when I say fish it fast, you don't fish the bait fast. You just go cover in the water fast. But in this particular case, oh, there we are. Oh, more better. And look at this guy. Still reluctant, but I've seen on the Garmin about 6 or 8 of them in about 19 to 22 feet of water. And that's one of them. Big fat fish. But again, I was just barely moving that bait along, just kind of letting it swim and letting the wind and the boat position me to just take this outside edge of this corner. You see on here, that little nipple in the side of there? Well, I'm basically fishing that outside edge. Oh, there we are, right there. Just picked it up just like that last one, it just right there. Ooh, thank you. Why do we love bass fishing? Because they fight like the dickens. Like the dickens. So I'll ask you again, what's the most important tool in this modern age of fishing that can maximize your success like nothing else? Certainly overall, it's your boat that's going to get you there. For every fish of any kind, you're going to need a good rod, reel, line, and bait that'll get a particular job done. Trolling motors are paramount in boat positioning and all, but without finding fish to catch, none of the rest matters. Modern electronics, like the Garmins we've seen today, are truly the cart that needs to come before the horse. Use one to pattern fish location, and from there I can promise, with one caveat, that good things are bound to happen. See, even as miraculous as a Garmin unit is, the onus is still on the angler to learn it well and utilize it properly to conquer lakes. Though they can provide priceless information, it's always up to the angler to read it and interpret it correctly, and then he can make the right decisions about what to do about what he's discovered. And that's what always makes fishing a little like a chess match each time out. Moving around and goofing around with all those little pieces in the game. I'm Babe Winkelman. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, everybody, hey, good fishing.